Accessing library computer data.
And to make sure that history never forgets the name Enterprise.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Penske Podcast. If you haven't tuned in before, this is a podcast where we are running through all 178 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, giving our thoughts and feelings about each and every one. Right now we're up to episode 14 of season 4. This one is called Clues. It was directed by Les Landau. Teleplay goes to Bruce Arthurs and Joe Menosky. The story credit goes to Bruce Arthurs. It aired back on February 11th, 1991. In this episode, while en route to investigate a mysterious planet, the entire crew, with the exception of Lieutenant Commander Data, is rendered unconscious by an apparent wormhole. After they revive, Data explains that they were unconscious for only 30 seconds, but a variety of clues discovered around the ship seem to indicate that he is lying. Modi Operandus is going to join us to talk about this one. It's a real humdinger of a mystery. We got Clues coming up right after this.
The stun effect from the wormhole was relatively severe.
Apparently so. For how long were we unconscious?
Approximately 30 seconds. I have scanned the entire ship and detected no life-threatening injuries among the crew.
You were not affected?
No, sir. My positronic system is immune to the effect. This is the third unstable wormhole I've passed through during my time with Starfleet. The first was aboard the USS Trieste.
Thank you, Mr. Data.
You know how you know that this story is a mystery?
Because they tell you right up at the top of the episode.
It's
a mystery.
Alongside the title, I think they say the words mystery and clues 3 million times in this episode.
Which it's the theme of the episode, though, I think, is that it's kind of the human curiosity is what causes all the problems, basically.
Yes. If you haven't guessed, we're talking about Clues. Modi's joined us yet again to talk about Clues. I've been talking up Clues as one of the episodes that I really enjoy of this show. And it's coming at the midpoint of season 4, which to me at this point, season 4 has been a little bit of a weirder season, a little bit of a letdown. But Clues is a fascinating episode, I think, on a lot of levels. Modi, what'd you think of this one?
I also, similar to the last one, I really like this episode, actually. This is a very strong episode, and it's got a lot of good, a good sci-fi kind of mystery that you can only work in a sci-fi setting, which is nice.
I love the mystery shows. They're like they're sort of my weak spot. Even if the episodes aren't all that good, I tend to like the standalone mystery episodes. And I really like this one mostly because I think that the mystery and its resolution is like 95% of the way there to being perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of feel that it ends. They take a very long time to wrap it up at the end, which I think is kind of problematic. My brain starts to realize that there are a couple little holes that are starting to show through, mostly because they're talking about it for too much. But outside of that, I really enjoy It's got a great cold open ending anyway. We talked about in the previous episode, the cold opens for this one and Devil's Due are sort of detached from the main thing. And this one, it's a Dixon Hill mystery. Picard and Guinan are playing on the holodeck in the Dixon Hill program. And they cut to, they found a Class M planet that is in some part of space where it shouldn't exist or something like that. There's a flash and then everyone but Data is passed out on the ship.
After seeing a wormhole, too.
Yeah, seeing a wormhole. Which is a great cold open. It's probably the strongest one that I've seen so far out of all of them. And from that point, it's basically the crew trying to figure out what was going on. Data tells them that they were unconscious for 30 seconds, and they start to uncover clues that seem to indicate that they were out cold for much longer than that, closer to a day. And that Data is not telling the truth about what happened. It's a great concept.
I like the paranoia. My favorite part of this is the paranoia around Data. That's the most interesting part of this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, they figure out the whole, it's been a day, and they're not telling us something, like, almost right away. They probably spend too much time, like, pretending to figure that out. But the intrigue with, like, how can you trust Data if Data can lie kind of thing is really, really interesting here.
Yeah, we've talked before about it's awesome when they make the audience unsure of what Data is doing, or have him do something in a very cold manner. That is, because it's these kind of episodes that really, I think, flesh him out as to he's not human. Mm-hmm. Like every other episode, a lot of the episodes you could kind of just see him as a human character with weird traits. There's nothing really totally alien about him, unless they do the obvious, like, oh, I don't feel any emotion. But he never feels like a construct or something like that.
Yeah.
It's stuff like this that is like, it's fascinating to see his reaction to something, because he's totally creepy. If you realize that he's lying to you, it's like a terrifying thing.
Yeah.
It's just his blank look. They do a lot of it once they've sort of figured out what's going on. Like his sort of just dead stare at you as they're asking him questions. I noticed that. And I watched this episode recently. I watched it once recently and then watched it again for the episode today. And the second time through, I was picking up on little things. Even from the very beginning, he always takes a little longer to respond to things than normal. Yep.
Just a little choice from Spiner. And like, and then later on, he's taking further and further gaps as it gets harder and harder to not tell a lie.
Yeah.
But not tell them the truth. And I paid attention, and every single time he tells them something, he never tells them a lie.
Yeah.
He always tells them the truth, the way he phrases it.
Yes.
And it's really, really well written that way.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty strong script. It's also they show a lot of hints from the beginning. Like in the very beginning, when they all sort of wake up the very first time, Worf is rubbing his wrist in the background.
Yeah.
Which is a really nice touch, because eventually it's discovered that he broke his wrist during the lost day. And he's constantly in the background rubbing his wrist, and it's like, oh, it was actually, well thought out. It's a well produced mystery going on here.
Yeah.
Everything sort of stacks together
Everything
nicely.
Fits, right? So it leads itself to repeat viewings, I would say, because there is little things you pick up on like that when you watch it a second time, even, which is a sign of the strength of the episode.
Yeah, it's a sign of a good mystery when you can rewatch the mystery and see what's going on.
And the clues were all there all the whole time. You just didn't pick up on them.
Right, exactly. It's I wish I could see this one again. My sort of criticism from it stems from the fact that I can't watch it with fresh eyes anymore. I think this one probably... I would assume this episode feels very, very strong if it's the first time you've watched it. Again, I feel the ending just goes on a little bit too long. The other thing, besides the creepiness of Data, I really like, is I love the creepiness of what Troy says of looking in the mirror and seeing someone who's not you looking back.
Yeah,
is pretty
good.
It's a pretty terrifying idea.
She's not very terrifying, but
no.
she doesn't sell it very well. But I mean, the idea of it is really good.
Yes, and it's kind of a little bit of a cop out that it's just another alien takes over a person and speaks through them. I would probably think that something weirder at that point is going on, because
that happens like once a week.
Right, exactly. Someone's always got to be the mouthpiece for the aliens. I feel at that point when she looks in the mirror and screams, the show is kind of implying a alternate reality that we're in, which is not the case.
Right.
But that's kind of how I see it. But I wish they had done more with that instead of just had her be, sort of locutus for these aliens or whatever and just speak.
But why does she react that way? I mean, why does she not see herself? Because she's not under control anymore. So there's no reason she shouldn't be seeing herself when she looks in the mirror. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. It was good, but at the same time, it doesn't really make sense to me.
No, I think it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be a clue, I guess, as to what's going on, but it feels a little bit too strong, almost.
Yeah.
Like,
there's enough without that going on.
I would have been happier if she was just sort of lightly remembering something. Like maybe she was the only person besides Data who somewhat remembers something.
Right. Yeah, she has little glimpses or something going on.
Right. Or like a flashback of her talking to Data or something, to make her suspicious about what she remembers talking to Data. How come no one else does, or anything like that? It's a minor issue though. I do like this episode. It's I love the scene in the conference room where Data is also perfect for this because you can send him away and he won't get suspicious of you.
Yes.
You know, which is key.
That was such a
in
good
this.
moment too. Where they're like, all go silent. He's like, "Can you go take a look down there? Like, just go away for a bit." And they're all really, really quiet as he walks out. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't trust him at all. Like, it's so good. I loved it. I loved that
Are
part.
you? Yeah, it's like, do you believe what he said? He's like, I want a frank answer. He's like, I don't believe
Not
for
at all,
A second
yeah.
that I can't believe he even said it. Which
Yeah,
is,
that's so good.
yeah, I was very pleased. It's because if it was any other character, you'd be like, well, you can't just walk out. They're clearly going to talk about you behind your back, you know. Like, but for Data,
He won't suspect anything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has to go help Nelson, who I wonder if it's a callback character, Nelson in engineering, who's doing something that Data has to help him.
There's always a Nelson, never seen on camera. There's just Nelson in engineering. It's just, because
there was
it's a joke. It's like a rookie. It's a rookie joke thing. You're like, oh yeah, there's a pool on the roof of the Enterprise. You have to check out.
There was a guy in engineering who was there for an episode. Geordi kept yelling at him. I can't remember his name though. We were hoping he would be a recurring character. I don't think it was Nelson, but it was something along those lines. It's the only one thing that I thought was weird that they would you have brought up the beards not growing fact if
This is so weird. No, I would not have. Our beards didn't grow at all. It's like, then they actually, like, I don't know, they just wanted to give Geordi a line, I guess, because they do a callback to it later. Like, they put you in cryostasis. I'm like, oh, that's why our beards didn't grow.
Yes.
Guys, it all makes sense now. Like, yeah, thanks, Geordi. You cracked it. Thank God you're here.
It felt like something so small to bring up that having to explain it later on as biostasis felt like unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like I didn't need them to be in biostasis for whatever
If they
reason.
had never explained the beard thing, we would have been fine.
I would not have thought of it. It would not have popped into my head. I wouldn't have been like, why didn't their beards grow if they were out for a day?
Yeah, it's the red herring. It's like, oh, but why didn't their beards grow then if you're so smart? Yeah.
God.
God.
Riker and Worf would be hard to tell because they already have the beards, but I guess Geordi would be the one. Data wouldn't care. Data wouldn't tell them about it or anything. It was a weird decision. What else would you notice if you were out for a day? I was trying to think. I can't think of anything that I'd. No, if you didn't know
your
about...
teeth wouldn't feel very brushed, I suppose. If
Yeah.
you didn't go the day without brushing your teeth, maybe. You haven't showered in a day. Like, you know, there's all kinds of stuff.
There is a version of this episode where just the clues are like super minutia stuff that it's like, I didn't feed my goldfish or something like that. Like very.
Yeah, my goldfish is dead. Why is my goldfish dead?
The dog is very
Why is
hungry.
my cat won't stop crying? Why won't he stop crying? I just fed him.
It's something like that. Just a very, very tiny little things. But no, I think they stick to a pretty good amount of stuff. The Paxtons are the aliens here, which I think are, to my knowledge, the first xenophobic race that the Enterprise has run into. What'd you think of... Oh, Skype, you're telling me there's an internet connection. But
yeah.
What'd you think of the Paxtons sort of... What'd you think of the Enterprise crew's reaction to the Paxtons? Does it make sense that they would just be like, no, we don't need to know about you? Does that fly with what you think this crew is all about?
I think that it does. It kind of matches the Prime Directive thing of like live and let live, and like if someone doesn't want to be contacted, they don't have to be. So they are respecting their rights to privacy, as I think it was how Picard phrases it.
Yeah.
So that does kind of ring true for me of why they would want to try to avoid this. I thought it would be interesting if they were like, this is the 8th time you've come into our world.
Yes,
why don't you figure out a better plan than this? I wish they would have done that.
That's sort of because you're getting into the cause and effect thing at that point. It was
they're just refining. It's Groundhog's Day. They're just refining the process again and again until finally Data can get it right and they solve all of the clues.
Yes, I mean, because it was really only Crusher's moss. Right? Because they had left.
That was the big one.
They had left by the time that she found the moss. So, everything had gone to plan up to that point. And also, Data just sort of got lazy by copy-pasting a picture out of Wikipedia as the planet and stuck it in.
This is after the probe, yeah.
And Geordi did a
and
reverse
then also
Google
the second
search.
probe worked, so he only rigged up one probe for it.
Right.
Like,
yep.
No chance of them sending two, I suppose.
No. Not at
yeah.
all. It's... I think it makes sense, and it's purely a symptom of the pacing of the episode. They get to the wipe our brains very quickly. Like it's like you can't know about our civilization. Picard's like, all right, brainwipe us, and I'll tell Data not to tell anybody about this.
Can you wipe our brains? Oh, you can. That's perfect. That's exactly what we need for the situation. Glad you have that power.
And why did
little convenient?
Why did the Paxons trust Data not to tell anything? They seem
That's a good
very
point.
believable about that.
It must be safer to kill everybody.
It was, yeah. It's good they're not too violent. So
Commander Data, would it be safer just to kill everyone? Technically, yes, it would be safer to kill everybody. Oh, really good. Okay, that's what we're going to do then.
That's the easy way to go about things. So, What do you think? Are the Paxons people, or are they the gas creature that attacked the Enterprise?
I don't know. It's very strange that we don't really see what the Paxons are. They just have the gas thing protecting them. I don't think they're gas people. Because why would they need a last-end planet then?
Right. Well, they mentioned terraforming the planet. So I assume that they're down there, and we never see them, which is kind of cool, I guess, which makes sense for what it would be.
And they just have this security system,
yes,
the smoke monster protecting them.
Yeah, that's right. Always need a smoke monster just hanging around. It's, yeah, I do like it. I like the flashback of Data telling like the day of what went on. I think the reveal of who ordered you to do this and Data saying you did is a awesome act break.
Yes, great beat right there. Yeah, for sure.
It's certainly one of the stronger act breaks I can think of. It's such a chilling episode. That's what I love. Like you were saying, the chilling parts of this episode are what I really like. And I feel that in between the intro, the cold open, and the wrap up thing, it kind of loses that a little bit, and it makes me a little bit sad to lose that because I love the creepiness parts.
Yeah, all of the act breaks are pretty good here. I'm looking at the Wikipedia right now.
Sure.
The act break there's the good one with Data saying that it was Picard that ordered him to lie. There's the act break where Deanna finds out, or Deanna sees no reflection, doesn't recognize, and they're saying we have to go back to the planet.
Yep.
And then Act 2 is when they finally don't. They escort Data to engineering.
Oh yeah.
And Data says, "I know the way, sir."
Yes.
Like that was so good. Such a good act break line. Like, oh man.
That's very, very true. All the just the need to have security around him and everything, and he's completely not a threat. It's a excellent little thing. His concern for Deanna Troi during his interrogation in his room is nice. Mm-hmm. Just like he's unsure of what to do. Picard's frustration is like fantastic. About like,
there's also, speaking of Troy, there's also the first inklings of Worf and Troy situation going on too.
Yes,
they have a nice little arm in arm walk, and then he kind of smiles when he drops her off, and then then she screams. But that's the beginning of that relationship too, I think. He
gives her a little rueful head shake, like she does this all the time to get out of work, which I thought was funny. And she goes in, he's leading her an arm. It gave me a newfound appreciation for the difference in size between them. She's either tiny or he is gigantic.
Yeah.
I would lean towards maybe she's smaller. I don't know how tall Patrick Stewart is. What would you guess how tall Patrick Stewart is?
I would say 5'10", 5'11", maybe.
Really?
I say he's pretty tall. I mean, I think that he's on the cast with a lot of giant people like
Riker is
Riker is gigantic, and
maybe I think Michael Dorn.
Yeah, I think both those guys are pretty tall. So
I would we'll put a thing here. I'm sure his height won't show up there. I would have guessed a little bit shorter. I think everyone I think everyone on TV maybe has like the Tom Cruise thing going, where everyone,
platforms,
everyone is much smaller than you actually expect them to be, standing on apple boxes talking to each other. Clues. I liked clues. I liked
me too.
I liked Worf's wrist being broken. I didn't like the way it was shot, which I thought was kind of stupid. And I thought it was a little bit of a cheesy out where Data didn't break his wrist.
Yeah, that's true. Why is Deanna super strong for no reason?
Yeah, I thought the first time I saw this, I watched it twice, just like you. I misremembered, and I thought that the aliens had gone into Worf's body, and Data had attacked him to stop him.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and that would be the cause of his broken wrist.
Maybe it was to add a little more distrust of Data, that maybe he's violent as well as lying.
Yes, I think that's what it's, because Worf has the line about only Commander Data is one of the few people, which really sort of being a real blowhard about how many people on the ship can break his wrist.
Yeah,
but
I think nobody can break my wriist. Yeah,
I like how he qualified it too. He's like, only Data has the speed and like agility or whatever.
Exactly. He's stuck himself up.
It's not just because he's made of metal and he can crack
Not
you
just
in
because
half.
he's not strong. He's also fast. That's the big problem. If he was strong or fast, it wouldn't work. But he's strong and fast. So he gets beat.
Would have just judo flipped him if he wasn't so fast. But he got me. He got me real quick. Poor Worf.
Worf's like everybody's dad or something like that. It's like, oh yeah.
Yes.
There was 30 of them. That's why the only way I could get away is because there was 30 of them. If there was 29, I would have been fine, but there was 30 and I was not not fine.
The 30th came up from behind me, gave me a cheap shot me in the back of the head. I got knocked out a little bit. Took me down. Clues is a pretty strong episode. Do you have anything else you want to talk about this one, or do we want to wrap this bad boy up?
Wrap it up.
We're going to play an audio clip. We're going to come back and we're going to give final thoughts and rating for Clues.
Is it possible that someone or something could have affected you without your knowing?
I'm unable to answer that question, sir.
Data, would you consent to being examined by Commander LaForge?
As you wish, Captain.
Will you escort Commander Data to engineering?
I know the way, sir.
All right, Clues. So, Modi, on a scale of 1 to 5, what are you going to give Clues?
I am going to give Clues a 4.
Nice.
Because it's a very entertaining episode and one of the best.
Sure. What would hold it back from a 5? What's your main sort of gripe holding it back?
I don't know if I have anything. Maybe I'm just reserving 5 for something really special. I don't know what that would be though.
Do you think?
I mean, this is like you said you couldn't watch it again with fresh eyes, but having watched it twice in succession, I do think that it was nice to be able to pick up on all the little things that they did put in there for repeat viewing.
Yeah.
So even knowing how it turns out the second time around, there were things to see the second time around. Okay, you convinced me it's a 5.
You're going to give it a 5. I wasn't trying to change you because...
No, you've got it. You've got it. You've done it.
I think it's a 4 as well, which was a little bit disheartening just because I had gone into the episode leading into it. I remembered it more fondly than I felt watching it for some reason. I really wish that they'd stuck with the mystery for a little bit longer. I could have done with more creepy Data stuff, like one more scene of creepy Data would have been great. It might not. I always feel bad. Like, I don't think the 5s have to be the big epic episodes.
That's true.
You know, so like I wish I could give this one a 5. Do you remember the episode Conundrum, which I think is season 5? It's the one where there's a crew member who appears on the ship. Everyone's memory gets wiped, and they end up with a new crew member that no one, everyone forgets who they are.
Oh, yeah.
And he tells them that they're at war with this other race.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's a good episode.
I thought that Clues was a better episode than that one, but now that I'm remembering, Conundrum might be better. But they're so close to each other, I feel only one of them can be a 5. So,
you know what? Fives are cheap, man. You can give anything a 5.
I could give every single episode.
Not going to hurt your rep if you give this one a 5. People won't disagree with you.
I'll give it a 4. I'm going to stick with that mighty 4. I think it's a solid 4. I think this one is thoroughly enjoyable. I think you could easily show this to somebody. I think it's an enjoyable episode to watch. Even you don't need to know anything about the show except for Data's an
just
android.
That it's a mystery, and you have to explain why Guinan is weird.
Yes, and how come they didn't go back to Guinan? You'd feel she would have an extra sensory perception about this.
Something, yeah. You'd think so.
She can tell when
they never revisit that whole thing. I'm kind of curious what happens with Dixon Hill there, like that whole mystery.
Yes,
I'm curious about that one.
And that was
needs to be resolved.
A scandalous garter belt shot for Guinan. I assume those are not Whoopi Goldberg's legs that we were.
She had a leg double.
Stunt
legs.
What do you What's your quick thoughts on Dixon Hill?
The voice is sometimes terrible. That he does oh god, I don't like his little accent he does with
his Chicago. I don't know what she's talking about. Yeah,
Gloria. Yeah,
Gloria,
it's so bad. I wish he would. If he avoids that, it sounds fine. But yeah,
and
that's pretty much it.
I've never been to Cleveland either, so I couldn't tell you if that's a Clevelandian accent or not. But
nope.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the Dixon Hill. I wish they. I did my worst of episode video for season 3, and Matter of Perspective is one of my least favorite episodes of season 3. But Matter of Perspective had the cool feature of using the holodeck to actually solve real mysteries, which the show seems hesitant to do. I wish they did that more than made up character mysteries that are lame and I didn't have to watch.
It's underutilized.
Yes,
for sure.
It is. It's such a great thing for solving mysteries. How would you not use the holodeck every single time something mysterious happened?
It's probably too powerful of a tool for the writers, maybe. Maybe the writers don't want to avoid it for some reason.
The writers had actually brought up a good point I'd never thought of. They were all itching to do a murder mystery, right? But they kept figuring out that the technology of the show makes it impossible to do a murder mystery in Star Trek. Like you have to really arrange something for there to be no way that they could tell what had happened to you.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a sad thing.
That would be fun though.
Murder mysteries are always excellent, and I love the mystery episodes. So thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed the content, you're on iTunes, a rating or review is appreciated. If you're on YouTube, a like and a comment. Modi, thank you very much for stopping by.
No problem. And
after this, First Contact is the episode right after this, which First Contact, I think, is regarded pretty well.
Very good one.
Pretty important episode. Riker-centric. It's been a while since we had Mr. Riker. And if you guys are listening to the podcast through iTunes or just the podcast not on YouTube, there's been another podcast that just started. You can do Star Wars, the podcast. You can go to the YouTube channel to check that out. We put up A New Hope. It's me, Clay, Jim, and Dave, and we have a nice hour-long chat about Star Wars. So if you're a Star Trek fan, you might be a Star Wars fan, I'd recommend going to check that out. Otherwise, check out Modi's channel, and I'll put a link to that in the video description below. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you next time.